Your brain is working every second you're awake. It is processing information, controlling movement, forming memories, regulating the body, and using large amounts of energy. All of that activity produces metabolic byproducts, but the brain does not have the same conventional lymphatic network running through its tissue as the rest of the body. Instead, it has its own specialized fluid clearance system. This is called the glymphatic system. The name comes from two words: glial, because support cells in the brain help organize the process, and lymphatic, because it performs a similar cleanup and drainage role. The glymphatic system uses cerebrospinal fluid, the clear fluid surrounding the brain and spinal cord. This fluid moves through spaces around the brain's blood vessels. It exchanges with fluid between brain cells and helps carry soluble waste products away from the brain tissue. The fluid eventually connects with drainage pathways around the brain and neck, where material can continue moving into the body's wider circulation and elimination systems. So the brain is not sealed off and left to manage everything alone. It is connected with circulation, breathing, sleep, and the lymphatic pathways outside the skull. One of the most interesting parts of the glymphatic system is its relationship with sleep. Research suggests that fluid movement and exchange within the brain change when we move from wakefulness into deeper sleep. During the day, the brain is highly active, signals are traveling constantly, attention is moving from one thing to another. The nervous system is responding to work, screens, noise, decisions, and emotional pressure. At night, when the brain enters deeper stages of sleep, the conditions change. Brain activity becomes more rhythmic. Heart rate generally slows. The space around brain cells may become more open to fluid exchange. This appears to create better conditions for the movement of cerebrospinal fluid through the brain. This is why sleep is not simply unconsciousness. It is an active period of organization, repair, and internal maintenance. Scientists are still studying exactly how the glymphatic system works in humans. Some findings have challenged parts of the original theory, while newer human studies continue to support the idea that sleep changes brain fluid movement and clearance. So we should not turn an emerging area of science into another exaggerated health claim. But one thing is already very clear: the brain needs proper sleep. You cannot continually shorten the night and expect the nervous system to perform as if nothing has happened. When sleep is repeatedly broken, delayed, or cut short, the brain loses part of the time normally available for memory processing, regulation, and maintenance. Someone may then notice poor concentration, slower thinking, irritability, reduced coordination, or a heavy, foggy feeling. These symptoms do not prove that the glymphatic system is blocked. They can have many causes, but they do show that the brain is not receiving the recovery it needs. The glymphatic system also depends on circulation. Fluid movement around the brain is influenced by the pulsing of blood vessels, breathing, and the changing pressures created by the cardiovascular system. This means the brain's cleansing process is connected with the heart, lungs, and blood vessels. Natural movement supports circulation throughout the body. Walking, cycling, and other regular activity help maintain the conditions in which blood vessels can move and respond. Breathing matters too. Deep, relaxed breathing changes pressure through the chest and neck and supports the movement of fluid through the body. This does not mean that one breathing exercise will cleanse the brain. It means that the systems of the body work together. Hydration also matters, but more water is not always better. The brain and kidneys carefully regulate fluid and mineral balance. Drinking according to genuine thirst and eating water-rich foods supports normal hydration without turning water into another forced treatment. The glymphatic system cannot be switched on with a powder, tea, or supplement. There is no product that can replace sleep. The most useful support is much simpler. A regular sleeping pattern, enough time in bed, a dark and quiet sleeping environment, less stimulation before sleep, natural daylight during the morning and daytime. Regular movement and attention to problems that repeatedly interrupt breathing or sleep. Loud snoring, gasping during the night, waking with headaches, or feeling exhausted despite spending enough time in bed can sometimes indicate sleep apnea. That deserves proper assessment rather than being dismissed as poor sleep. The same applies to persistent headaches, confusion, sudden weakness, changes in speech, or other new neurological symptoms. They should never be assumed to be a detoxification response. They may require urgent medical attention. From the natural body intelligence perspective, the glymphatic system shows us why rest is productive. While we are awake, the brain is responding to the world. During sleep, the conditions shift towards restoration and internal organization. The body is not doing nothing, it is carrying out work that cannot be completed properly while we remain constantly stimulated. The glymphatic system is another reminder that health is based on rhythm. Activity followed by rest, stimulation followed by quiet, wakefulness followed by deep sleep. Your brain does not need to be forced into cleansing. It needs the time, circulation, and natural conditions that allow its own maintenance processes to work. Sleep is not time lost. It is part of the biological work that makes the next day possible.